Today we're going to be taking the Bosnia challenge, based on a post on Reddit saying this is one of the most hardcore countries. I restarted a million times and the most I could do is survive 20-30 years and then gave up. There is one country, it's a vassal. Annexation starts very soon. Clock ticking, mostly mountains and hills with forests. One county, access to the sea with low control. Consists of 300k peasants, doesn't have any towns, no burghers, no male heir, no significant bonuses. And of course that nation is Bosnia. Bosnia has no events, but it does have a few unique advances. Bosnia also has its own church. This is my first attempt. I've never played Bosnia before. We're going to play on Iron Man mode, because I'm sure it won't be that hard, right? So let's begin. Alright, so first of all, Bosnia is a vassal to Hungary. Hungary is one of the strongest nations around at the start, really, and there's a good chance that they end up in a personal union with Naples. We, of course, are Bosnia. We have nothing. Essentially, we have no town. Our country is mostly mountains, which leads to low control. Despite our small size, our control is pretty low. We do have access to a silver mine, though. Fortunately, it's working at only a very low capacity at the start. I'm not sure we have the income to really invest in it. First things first, let's hand out some privileges. We're going to hand out the common militias just to give us some extra army size. We're going to hand out religious advisory council to the clerics, just to increase the efficiency of our cabinet, which I think is going to be quite important. And for the nobles, we're going to grab primacy of the nobility for that extra 5 discipline. For our government reforms, we're actually going to grab diplomatic traditions to increase our reputation. And instead of grabbing autocracy, which is an obvious one, we're going to hold off and wait for the next age, which is very close, only in 5 years, and then we'll probably grab a reform once we reach that new age. For research, we're not going to do anything crazy, just the usual. Now, we do have access to our own religion. What can our religion do? We're the only country that follows it in the world. Gives 5 noble satisfaction, gives 5 cleric satisfaction, gives tolerance of heretics, allows monasteries. What bonds do we have? We can summon a mystic, Bosnian character spawns, pushes us towards belligerent and spiritual. We can send an emissary to... Oh, this increases every Catholic nation, all of them, all 491 of them, opinion of us by 50. That's pretty nice. The problem is, in order to get enough religious score to really do that, well, it takes... We receive 0.1 essentially a month, which means after 10 months we would receive 1, which means after 100 months we would receive 10, and we need 20, I think, to do this. So we need to wait 200 months before we can do this, unless an event gives us some religious influence. We're going to set Croatia as a rival just because, you know, they're a personal union of Hungary. I guess we'll set Serbia as a rival as well, because why not? They're probably not going to help us. We're going to start building a spy network on Hungary. We're not going to immediately try and become disloyal, because if we do, there's a good chance the AI will react and attempt to increase our loyalty. Instead, we're going to fly under the radar a little bit. We're going to focus on getting our stability and legitimacy up just in the short term. We're not going to tax our clerics so we can research a little faster, and we're kind of just going to wait a little bit. Is there any building we could build that would cause the burghers to spawn in our nation? That's a good question. If we could get the burghers to spawn, we could kind of do all sorts of things. But no, it doesn't like it because we're of course, we don't have any towns or cities. And that's where all the burger buildings tend to be. Well. We're going to start... Well, Hungary doesn't have any rivals. We're going to wait a month and see if they get any rivals of note. Well, it looks like they've allied Poland and they've taken no noteworthy rivals. That makes things even worse. It looks like a random event decreased our loyalty, though, so we could form a independence faction right now. I guess we'll do that. Let's see. Who is willing to join? No one is willing to join our independence movement. That's not surprising. Let's look at someone like Austria. Their main reasons for not joining is the diplomatic opinion of Hungary. They also have very high trust of Hungary, it seems. And they don't really like us. But that's mainly because we're not of the same religion. Now, here's something of note. Bohemia has rivaled Hungary. If we could get an alliance with Bohemia, we could probably just win our independence straight up. Bohemia is currently in a war, which is what's making them unhappy because they've joined the crusade against Lithuania. But once that's over, there's a good chance we'll be able to get them to ally with us. We're going to start improving relationships with them the moment we can in preparation for getting them to join our rebellion. Bulgaria is willing to join our rebellion as well. We just need to improve our relationships with them, which is what we're going to be doing. We're actually going to max our diplomatic spending just so we can get as many diplomats as possible, as fast as possible. On the military side of things, giving out that privilege to the peasants has increased our levy size to nearly 5,000, around 4,000 or so, which is definitely nice. One thing of note is our king starts unmarried, and we could use this marriage to our advantage. We could marry into the Hungarian royal family itself, but I'm not sure that it's that useful. But at the same time, who else could we marry into that would be useful? Is there anyone that has any children who isn't willing to marry us right now? There's Sicily, there's Bulgaria itself, but Bulgaria is very unwilling to royal marry us. Minus 100 because of our overlord is their rival. Maybe we should just marry into the Hungarian royal family. It'll make us, the problem is it'll make us a little more happy towards Hungary. We don't really want that. We do want to get a wife as quickly as possible. We can start having children though. I guess we'll just randomly marry somebody to give us some high prestige. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Our nearby rival Croatia has actually gone to war. We can't actively attack them because we're a vassal, but what we can do is intervene in the war. Because Croatia is very weak, what I think we're going to do, we're going to intervene in the war and try and full annex them. They don't have any forts, just like us. Well, actually, that's not true. They have a castle, but we have 4,000 men. So surely we should be able to win. It might be a little close, but we're going to intervene in their war with... Who are they at war with? Ortenburg. We're going to intervene. We're now on Ortenburg's side. We can peace out separately, though. Hypothetically, could we annex their whole country? It looks like it. Unfortunately, at that exact moment, Oldenburg decided to make peace. So I guess that's out the window. Not a big deal. It's not like taking Croatia would have given us that much benefit. We're going to use our first parliamentary option, and we're going to attempt to promote urbanization to create a town in our country. Fortunately, we're not going to be able to choose where the town spawns, but getting a town will allow us to get burghers. We now have our town operational. Now we can build a building that will cause burghers to spawn. Or I guess we don't need to. There'll be 200 burghers by default. Yeah, there we go. So some burghers have spawned. This has led to the creation of our burghers estate. What we're going to hand out to them is the ability to build roads, and we'll just hope they roadify our nation. We're also going to give them control over monetary policy so we can have more inflation, so we can mint more gold without gaining inflation. We'll also give them treasury rights for the increase to our tax efficiency. One thing of note is that our loyalty towards Hungary keeps fluctuating, and when it goes positive, we lose the ability to invite people to join our faction. But honestly, it's not a big deal. One of the things I'm doing is I'm not actively trying to increase my own liberty desire, because if I don't try and increase it, Hungary won't try and decrease it, or increase my loyalty, I suppose would be the correct way of saying it. We're going to wait until we can actually get countries to join our rebellion, and then we'll decrease our loyalty as much as possible. The main thing that's keeping us loyal is Hungary's spending on diplomatic spending, but he keeps cutting it, which causes us to decrease loyalty and become disloyal again. So we might not even need to really try to increase our loyalty, to decrease our loyalty. New Age has started. The natural instinct is to go for administration, but considering what we need is soldiers and manpower, it might be better to go for military, because we can get some extra levies, we can get some extra levy efficiency, but at the same time, I'm not sure if we're going to end up... We're probably going to gain independence before we get too far into the military tree. We're going to go military focus, just because it rarely is done. And then we're going to rush down the research tree and go straight for the enforced service for 10% extra levies, as well as the open levy standards for 25% non-culture levies. Anything to buff our strength is useful. Now we're going to use our new reform that we've got at the age of since we're in the age of the Renaissance, and we're going to grab local army organizations to increase our peasant levies by an extra 20%. We've managed to get Bulgaria to join our independence movement. There is now 2 of us. We're not stronger than Hungary, just the 2 of us together. Hungary has around 70,000 levies. They're also allied with Poland, and of course have Croatia. If we can get Bohemia in, we've pretty much already won. We just need to get our relationship with Bohemia up high enough. Our second parliament has arrived, and we're not actually going to try and pass this one. We're actually just going to raise larger levies just to buff out our chest even further. We've currently got around 5,000 levies. Now we get around 7,000 with that online. When it comes to strength, us and Bulgaria together around 15,000, around 14,000 versus the around 30,000 of Hungary and its allies. Our ruler has died. Unfortunately, he didn't manage to have a son, so we're going to end up with a female ruler, which means our glorious dynasty will disappear. There are no other male relations of our family. So that's too bad. We've actually managed to get Austria to join our independence movement. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to get Bohemia. They just like the Hungarians a little too much. Or the fact they're at war is doing it. If they could stop being at war, we'd be able to do it instantly. I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to do that though. How's our current strength then? If we declared war right now, we would be slightly weaker than them. It's going to be kind of close though. As I said, if we could get Bohemia in, it's pretty much a one deal. Bulgaria could just stop, if Bohemia could just stop being at war with everybody all the time, then I think it'd be very easy for us to pull them into our alliance. One of the things I'm doing is I'm kind of waiting for the... Ooh, well, here's something of note. We can now send emissaries to Rome or summon a mystic. We actually managed to do it. The problem is, if we send emissaries to Rome, it'll increase Hungary's opinion of us, which I don't think matters that much. It won't increase our opinion of them, I don't think. So we're going to do this. But one of the things I'm doing is I'm keeping an eye. Well, there we go. Hungary has started to annex us now. But I'm keeping an eye on our loyalty. And whenever it slips down into the 50s, because Hungary lowers its diplomatic spending, I'm using a government option called the So Discontent to lower my loyalty from 50 down to 40, so I can see who's willing to join our rebellion, and then I usually switch back. When is Hungary going to finish annexing us? We've got 19 years. Should be more than enough. We could probably fight them and win right now, but I really just want to get Bohemia in so we can guarantee a win. There we go. We've managed to get Bohemia in. It's pretty much done now. We should easily win. We're going to rally the movement. It's us, Austria, Bohemia, and Bulgaria. We are resisting our annexation, which is going to cost us 20 stability, but it's fine. Boom. So what exactly are we going to aim to take? We're going to aim for our independence, of course. It's going to cost us 60 war score. If we can, we'd like to take some land from Bulgaria, from Hungary as well. We're also going to try and full annex Croatia, because they're not a vassal, they're an independent ally of the Hungarians. Full annexing them is definitely an option. We do have to be careful though, because we don't have any forts. I probably should have built one. It's entirely possible that the enemy just full occupies us. We'll have to hope that they can be distracted by the Austrians and Bohemians. We are going to stay on the defensive and hope that our allies just essentially win the war for us. We're also going to keep an eye on the Polish. If we can get them to peace out, then there's really no chance for the Hungarians to keep winning. We'll also try and peace out to Moldova if we can. We're very much in a see how it goes sort of situation. As I said, I should have gone into debt and built a fort. That would put us in a much better situation, but I was kind of too focused on the diplomatic aspects of things. That's my mistake, and if we die because of that, that'll be my fault. The Black Death has arrived in the area, so we're going to be fighting amongst it. Surely it won't have a huge impact. Thankfully, it looks like the Hungarians are spending most of their time fighting with the Bohemians in their territory, together with their Polish allies. As long as they stay far away from us, I think we're all good. We're doing pretty well. We've reduced them down to 16,000. There's only 9,000 Hungarians left. The Polish have lost nearly their entire army. The war hasn't even been going on a year yet, though, so piecing out the Polish isn't an option. They're also pretty happy to keep fighting. We're currently just sieging down Croatia, hoping that no one notices we're here. Looks like some Austrians are showing up. Not sure where they're going. Oh, they're being pursued by quite a big Hungarian army. Hopefully, if the Hungarians attack us, the Austrians will support us. Yeah, they're attacking us. I'm pretty confident, though. If the Austrians arrive in time, we should win. Yep, there come the Austrians. And there we go, we've routed them. We ended up taking more casualties than they did, though, but it's worth it. A win's a win. If we could just siege down this Croatian town, then we could... this Croatian fort, then we can full annex them. It's like the Hungarians have come back again to attack us. Luckily, our allies are still here, so we're going to win this pretty easily. Our manpower is actually pretty low now. There's only 1,000 of them left. We have finished taking down the Croatian fort, though. Now, if we just full occupy their nation, we should be able to do something with them. By do something, I mean probably just full annexing them. There's only 5,000 enemies left in the war, so I'm pretty confident at this point. As long as our allies don't abandon us or something like that, it should be an easy win now. We only have 800 men left. We're going to be a little careful. We managed to full occupy Croatia. Unfortunately, we can't full annex his nation. This is the best we could take, so I think we're going to take this. Just his two most populous provinces and leave his small little territories independent. That's Croatia out of the war. The Polish are pretty close to making peace because the Bohemians are full occupying them, it looks like. We just need to wait a little bit. We're actually going to fully integrate Croatian culture. It's not going to do much for us, but it's going to allow us to call up an extra 1,000 or so, or 1,500 levies. There goes the Polish. They're out of the war. It looks like the Hungarians about to stack wipe us though. But now that the Polish are gone, the Bohemians should turn their attention fully to the Hungarians. The Hungarians only have 300,000 men left, and only 1,000 of those are Moldovans. So as long as our allies stay in the war, they should just full occupy the nation for us. Right, it's pretty over. We've won. So now the question is, what should we do with the Hungarians? We could just take around 300 gold, but I'd rather take land. We could take this Slavonia proper region. We could also take the little extra part of this Karagina region, which I'm almost definitely pronouncing wrong. We can't really grab any more because of the casus belli we have, giving us minus plus 100 to the cost for taking land. And we are the attacker, I believe, yes. We could take this single city, I believe. Is this a city? No, it's not. So instead, we're probably going to grab something like this, to just take the city here, and then achieve our independence. Boom, it's done. Bosnia's back. Although we never really left. Now that we're independent, we can actually start thinking about getting allies. We also need to rapidly kind of core this territory, so we're going to invest a lot of time in doing that. We could release vassals to govern this land for us, but because we're so small, I think we kind of need every bit of land we can. Hypothetically, one of the options we could take is flipping to Catholic and asking to join the Holy Roman Empire. I'm not sure whether we'd be able to, though. It doesn't like the Bohemians would accept, mainly because of our country rank. We're only a duchy, though. Our duchy's not allowed to join the HRE. I think we're dead, and it's totally self-inflicted. I managed to get an alliance with both Wallachia and Bulgaria, and then I had a random event which gave me the option of getting like 5 research to make them both hate me by 50, and they both broke their alliances with me, and Serbia declared war. They even brought in the Bulgarians, and we haven't had time to replenish our levy since the war with Hungary. So I said, I think we're dead. Completely self-inflicted death as well. We were in a pretty perfect position. I was already eyeing up Serbia, thinking about how I would fight them and defeat them, but they did it first. I'm just curious to see what Serbia's gonna demand of us. They've got a 100% war score. They're not willing to make peace though. I guess they're going for the full occupation? What do they want? Let's see. Well, they didn't take that much, really. We're still very much Bosnia, and now the Serbians own land that we have cores on. Hypothetically, we could attack them for those cores. The problem is, of course, now we're even weaker than we were before. I think we'll leave it here. As I said, completely self-inflicted death. We were in a pretty great position. I will say one thing. I'm reconsidering the idea of getting the military focus, because I realized after the fact that the administrative focus would give you access to the religious casus belli, and because we're the only nation of our religion, the religious casus belli would basically be a free casus belli on the entire planet, which early on is definitely great. So is Bosnia incredibly difficult? I don't think so. It's just a normal vassal country, and you just need to play a little flexibly with how you play due to that. But I didn't think this was my first attempt, and I don't think it was insurmountable. If I did it again, I'd definitely play better. But I think the War of Independence was the easiest part. The hardest part was probably after the War of Independence. You need to be careful managing your allies so that you can actually eat into the rest of the Balkans. Now, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Do let me know what you thought. Do let me know if there's another hard nation you want me to try. I kind of want to make a video on Poland, but I'm kind of waiting for patch 1.1 to fully be released before I do a Polish strategy. Anyway, as I said, thank you for watching, and see you next time.